The next questions relate to Clayton Middle School and the related 4 elementary schools, which are currently zoned to Reno and McQueen High School. While generally well maintained, all of these facilities are over 50 and in some cases over 60 years old. Recent facility assessments comparing these outdated facilities to WCSD's newest school designs found that they lack features that support modern instructional models such as larger classrooms and the flexible collaborative learning hubs, and that many building systems are near the end of useful life, requiring significant renovation investment. These older campuses also have very small sites that make for challenging renovations, with the notable exception of the larger site occupied by Clayton and Tolles. Projections indicate enrollment decline in the next 5 years, with multiple elementary schools falling to extremely small sizes with very inefficient capacity utilization. Facility options for these schools in no particular order are: Option A, prioritize renovations under the current operating model. This option is to continue operating all schools in their current locations without major rezoning, while monitoring enrollment projections. Much in the line with recent projects at Swope and O'Brien Middle Schools, all schools would eventually be subject to significant investment in renovations, starting with the older, outdated buildings first, and a focus on school safety, student and staff wellness, collaborative learning, special education services, and supports for new and enhanced signature and magnet programs. A disadvantage about this option is that it comes with trade-offs. Due to limited capital funding that would have to be spread across more buildings with fewer students in them, this choice would result in either scaled-back facility improvements, longer timelines to get around to all schools, or both. This option also means that more of the district's very limited operational budget has to be spent on running and maintaining partially filled buildings, money which could otherwise be used for teachers, counselors, student support services, and educational programs such as pre-K, STEM, arts, languages, honors AP, etc. Option B, phased reconstruction and consolidation trade-up scenario. WCSD maintains that school closures are only an option when there's a clear benefit to students and staff, and always with community input. This option is what we're calling a trade-up scenario, where WCSD would concentrate its capital and operating budgets, replacing or doing major renovations to old outdated elementary school facilities with larger state-of-the-art buildings, enabling the consolidation of schools and programs into new facilities at fewer locations. This option has various positive benefits. First, better resourced schools because less of the operating budgets is used on running old, energy inefficient, and partially filled buildings, and more is left over for teachers and educational programs. Next, this option means better facilities for more students faster by focusing WC1 construction funds into more impactful projects in fewer buildings. Also, repurposed surplus facilities can be reimagined and put to good use to serve the community. One downside of this option is that with fewer schools, there will be less students walking and more students on short bus rides to and from school. Specifically for the elementary schools in the Clayton area, option B would take 5 to 10 years to do all of the construction to transform from 4 schools, Elmcrest, Peavine, Tolles, and Warner, down to 2 or 3 new and larger 600 to 700 student schools, ultimately closing and repurposing 1 or 2 of these sites for other district or community uses, giving families and staff a long time to prepare for changes. Because of this long time frame, WCSD would determine much later which sites are replaced and which are closed after confirming whether there's community support for making these big investments. Please rate your level of support for each draft option on its own individually, and note that you can indicate support for all, some, or none of the options. Then we will ask you your help in scoping and prioritizing projects by asking which educational programs need facility improvements the most. There's also an open-ended comment question at the end of the survey where you can expand on your answers.